Hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie and it's Tuesday, November 18th, 2014. On today's show, I'll be discussing the TUF 20 Episode 9 show that will be featuring the matchup between Felice Herrig and Randa Markos. And I'll also talk about a couple of other things that I've noticed about this matchup that I've seen out there on the internet, such as hints, clues, and a rumor that is floating around about the potential outcome of this fight. Okay, getting started. The TUF 20 Episode 9 show that will be featuring the matchup between Felice Herrig and Randa Marcos takes place Wednesday, November 19th, 2014, and will air on the Fox Sports 1 network at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. This is the first quarterfinal fight of the season of TUF, and it should be an interesting fight. Taking a look at the two ladies fighting in this episode, Felice Herrig is 30 years old and hails from the USA. She has a record of 9 wins and 5 losses and was ranked number 6 in the first episode of the season. Felice Herrig defeated number 11 ranked Heather Jo Clark in her first fight on this season of TUF to move on in the tournament to face Randa Marcos. Felice Herrig has 1 win by TKO, 2 wins by submission, and 6 wins by decision. All 5 of Felice Herrig's losses are by decision. And Felice Herrig is likely the favorite to win this matchup since she is the higher-ranked fighter from episode 1 of the show. Okay, moving on to Randa Marcos. Randa Marcos is 29 years old and hails from Canada. She has a record of 4 wins and 1 loss and was ranked number 14 in the first episode of the season. Randa Marcos defeated one of the top-ranked fighters in her first fight on this season of TUF to move on in the tournament to face Felice Herrig, and that fight was against the number 3 ranked Tecia Torres. Randa Marcos has 3 wins by submission and 1 by way of decision. In her loss column, Randa Marcos only has 1 loss, and that is by way of decision, and that loss happens to be against one of the fighters that is also on this season of TUF, but was forced to drop out of the competition due to an injury. And that, of course, would be Justine Kish. Now moving on for my prediction on how this matchup will end here. Going completely outside of the skills of these two fighters, there are several reasons that make me think Randa Marcos might win the first quarterfinal fight of the season against Felice Herrig. Number 1, Carlos Esparza expressed in an interview before the TUF 20 season aired that she had a problem with Randa Marcos. Number 2, the Carlos Esparza issue with Randa Marcos was evident in the TUF 20 Episode 9 teaser. And I think those two things not only have to do with some bad blood that Esparza has for Marcos, but I think that bad blood might have something to do with Marcos defeating Herrig in the Episode 9 show, because we all know that Felice Herrig is Carla's BFF. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why Carla may have some bad blood for her and, said some of the things she said about her. Number 4. In one of the TUF 20 season teasers, we saw Felice Herrig crying in one of the gym scenes, and she was being consoled by one of the other girls. I don't exactly recall seeing that scene on the show just yet, so I might have missed that scene, and it may in fact be the scene that is going to air after the episode on Wednesday. Number 5. After the episode 8 show, Tecia Torres was asked on the TUF Talk show who she thought was the most overrated fighter and the most underrated fighter in the TUF House, and Tecia said that Randa Marcos is most definitely underrated and should not have been ranked number 14 in the first episode. Now, that could be due to the fact that Randa Marcos defeated Tecia Torres in the first fight of the season, but it might also have something to do with the potential outcome of the fight between Herrig and Marcos. The girls aren't supposed to talk about too much of the information on the show there. I guess they're allowed to speak about anything that happened up until the point where they're interviewed on, the TUF Talk shows, but, anything after that, they've got to be really, kind of cautious as to what they say. And I also saw something else. This will be item number 6. I saw a couple of comments by fans out there on the internet that are claiming that Randa has leaked to her friends that she beat Felice Herrig in this fight. And if that did in fact happen, that might be a bit of a problem for Randa, since the fighters on TUF have to agree to a confidentiality agreement. But I have no idea if those rumors are true or not, because it looks like they came from a couple of Felice Herrig's haters. So take that with a grain of salt. But, you know, all those little things there kind of leads me to believe that maybe there is, in fact, something to all those little hints and the rumor that's going around out there about Randa possibly beating Felice on the show. It also seems to me that there's some bad blood between Felice and Randa. Initially, Felice didn't really say that she had a problem with Randa, but in the teasers for this week's show, we see that Felice does, in fact, have some animosity towards Randa. And Randa also said that she doesn't hate Felice, but she just doesn't like her. So, you know, probably these two ladies are going to go at it pretty hard. And I think with, you know, that underlying animosity between the two of them, they're probably going to want to make a statement. They're probably going to go at it pretty hard. You know, like I said, they're probably going to be looking for a finisher, but I'm not quite sure that's going to happen. I don't know. I want to pick Felice to win because I do like Felice. But with all the little hints and clues that seem to be floating around the internet, I'm also tempted to pick Randa Markos to win as well. So I don't know here. The last couple of times that I speculated on things like the apparent clues that I thought were obvious, I wound up on the wrong side of the outcome of the fights. I thought that Angela Hill would defeat Carla Esparza due to Carla's uncertain mindset just before their fight and the fact that she hadn't fought in a little bit. And I thought that Angela was going to be a little bit more aggressive than she was, but apparently that didn't pan out because Carla did, in fact, defeat Angela Hill. And I also thought that Tisha Torres would lose to Beck Rawlings due to the injury that she was complaining about on the TUF Talk show that aired after episode 1, where she said she had a shoulder injury or something to that effect. And, you know, I just thought maybe that that injury, if it was in fact legitimate, that it probably wasn't able to completely heal 100%. But then again, too, in the fight between Torres and Rawlings there, Beck Rawlings didn't really come out quite as aggressive as I expected she might. She did try to utilize her height and reach advantage, but she just didn't, you know, press the action. And, you know, Tisha had no problem moving in and out, scoring points, and basically outpointed her. So, yeah, a couple of times where I thought I saw some clues there, they were wrong. So take all of that I said with a grain of salt there as far as the clues and the tips and the potential rumor out there. Because I think I'm going to go ahead and ignore all of the rumors and hints this time around rather than take that chance because, I don't know, I think Felice has a good chance to beat Randa Marcos. So if the fight does in fact go to a decision, I think, you know, looking at their past records and, you know, the fights that they've had, I think a decision favors Felice Herrig. So I'm going to ignore all those rumors, and I'm going to pick Felice Herrig to win by decision. Okay. Also, on the TUF 20 Episode 9 show, we will be having the Coaches Challenge. And from the Episode 9 teaser, we see that the Coaches Challenge will be a game of trivia. So that should be a little interesting, a little different. I don't think they've ever done anything like that before on the show. So it should be fun to watch that as well. I'm sure the drama is going to continue. They still have a problem with Tisha Torres being in the room from Team Melendez. So I don't know if that's going to happen because Tisha did say she was going to leave the room after the fight. So maybe that will in fact happen. And they were also after Heavy Joe Clark to move out of Team Melendez's quarters as well, which, you know, it doesn't make sense really. I mean, big deal. She helped Tisha Torres, you know, cut in some weight, but to force out one of your teammates to go to the other team there just because you don't like her, and the fact that she helped one of your your team members basically. Tisha Torres, as you all know, she was eliminated in the first fight of the season against Randa Markos, came back in to fill the void that was left by Justine Kish. And in that process, she went from Team Melendez over to Team Pettis. So, can you really blame Heather Jo Clark for helping Tisha Torres cutting weight since they were, in fact, teammates at one point? So, it'd be nice to see all of the catty drama end there, because it is getting a little tiresome. I see a lot of people complaining about it. So maybe it'd be nice to see the girls stop bickering like, high school girls. It's kind of bewildering to see that sort of childish high school mentality from women that are supposed to be professional MMA fighters, and they're grown adults as well. So be nice to see all that come to an end. So maybe Tisha will move this week, and also maybe Heather Jo Clark will move out of Team Melendez's quarters as well. Okay, that's it for now. I want to thank you all for listening to our TUF 20 preview and recap series that we've been doing on the MMA Live Chat Show. And if you'd like to join us on the show to chat about some MMA, talk about the TUF 20 season, or give your MMA fight predictions, or join us on one of the post-event shows that we do, we'd love to have you join us. Just go over to the MMA chat forums where we plan the shows, create an account, and let us know that you'd like to join us so we can give you access to the area of the site where we plan and coordinate the shows. The link to the forums is in the description of the video, and you can also find our other social networking links there as well. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.